Chrysler offers Stow and Go for its 20th year. You can see here we have this latch. You lift up on it and this stays up out of your way. But now we can fold our seat into the floor with the simple pull of one strap. And yeah, I'll probably need to crawl in and latch it, but yes, now you can see the seat is completely in the floor. The same can be done here to the passenger seat, which is very nice. Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey, and this is a 2025 Chrysler Pacifica Limited all-wheel drive. And this represents essentially the only vehicle left in the Chrysler lineup after 100 years of existence. What does this grandfather and innovator of the minivan category have up its sleeve to set itself apart from its competition from Toyota, Honda, and Kia? Well, stick around and I'll take you on a tour. First things first, I do want to thank Chrysler for bringing this to me to test for a full week in our normal lives as a family vehicle. That's what these are for. Family stuff. And yes, it's done school pickup lines, grocery runs, it's done it all. We've gotten to live with it thanks to Chrysler for bringing it to us. And as I mentioned, this is facing some steep competition from brands who did not originate the category. Chrysler, as a parent company, originated with the minivan with the Dodge Caravan and the Plymouth Voyager. I myself grew up in a Plymouth Grand Voyager that was made for the 92 model year. A lot has changed since then. What this has underneath the hood over its main rivals from Toyota, especially 6 cylinders. So Toyota has gone exclusively hybrid 4-cylinder in the Sienna. You can still get a V6 as standard in the Kia, though they have a hybrid 4-cylinder option. And the Honda Odyssey still soldiers on with a V6. What you also get here is all-wheel drive, mechanical all-wheel drive. The Toyota all-wheel drive system, well, it uses an electric motor that isn't even attached to the driveline up here. It's connected electronically. So, mechanical all-wheel drive, something you also don't get from Kia or Honda. If this is something that you need, mechanical all-wheel drive 6 cylinders, this may be the vehicle, the family vehicle for you. But this 3.6 liter Pentastar V6 is plenty peppy for what it is. Its naturally aspirated 287 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque are readily available, and the 9-speed automatic transmission does help send power to all 4 wheels when called upon, but we will talk more about how it performs when we get it out on the road and we're driving. Otherwise, I have no real complaints with this setup. I do lament that we have a prop rod to hold the hood up, but the hood is very light and very short because, well, the minivan formula has fairly been the same since 1984 when Dodge Caravan and the Plymouth Voyager were introduced. The Chrysler Town & Country came along later and then was replaced by what is now called the Pacifica. Interestingly enough, I said in the intro, this is essentially the only vehicle in the Chrysler lineup. If you go to Chrysler.com, they claim to have 3 models available. This gas-powered Pacifica, a plug-in hybrid-powered Pacifica, which they are claiming is a separate model, and then the Voyager, yes, formerly the Plymouth Voyager, but the Chrysler Voyager, which wears the old face of the Pacifica. So, I mean, yeah, it's a different model because it's got different looks and a different name, but it's this vehicle, let's face it. It is also the entry point to the brand. It comes in a little bit cheaper than this. This being the limited model, this is a mid-trim, though it's optioned up very nicely and would compete quite well against the top Pinnacle trim. We do have some nice luxuries up here. We've got LED lights, running lights, but interestingly enough, incandescent turn signals. We do have the S appearance package, which gives us a blacked out grille and emblems here, black mirror caps, and contrasts nicely against the white paint. Gives it a very Stormtrooper-esque look that I think works for the minivan category. Talking about the S appearance package, it definitely lends a little extra style to a otherwise bland minivan. There's only so much you can do with the overall minivan shape. I think Kia with their Carnival is being the most daring. They even call it an MPV, declining to call it a minivan outright. But this formula is very familiar, very short hood, very cab forward, and lots of space on the inside. Though again, our S appearance package does offer these 20-inch black wheels that are wrapped in Pirelli rubber. So very interesting, 245/50 R20 Pirelli P0 tires. They differ a little bit from the Nexen low rolling resistance we saw on our last PHEV version that we tested here on the channel. But otherwise, I really do like the way the white and black works on this van. Again, gives it a very Stormtrooper-esque feel with all the black accents on the mirror caps, the dark window box, and just a generally clean look, clean design. It's not going to win any beauty contests, but again, practicality really is the name of the game with minivans. And this one is insanely practical, something we will get into when we literally get into the vehicle. As we move around to the back, this also wears new styling from the Voyager and the first iterations of the Pacifica minivan. We get the full width LED light bar across the back, LED turn signals and brake lights back here, black Pacifica S badging and limited all-wheel drive badging. Again, this is the only mechanical all-wheel drive minivan on the market, so definitely setting itself apart in that arena. We'll go ahead and come up here to the power operated rear hatch, give it all open, and take a look at our cargo space. As with all minivans, we have a deep well back here for cargo space, which is very nice for stacking tons of luggage back here behind the third row of seats. This is a 7-seater, and I do believe you can get enough luggage for all 7 people behind the third row of seats, so you can literally have 7 people and all their stuff if you need it. We do have this little panel right here that we'll talk about momentarily, but you can probably read and figure out exactly what all this is behind this rear panel back here. We do have our subwoofer. I do like how we have these places to put our seat belts, which you will see in action here in just a moment, why those need to be there. We also do have some additional power back here. Now, I did say this has got some special features that set it apart on the inside for versatility and against all the competition. Though third row fold into the floor seats is very standard across the board, I really like how Chrysler chooses to do it. So you can see we've got a couple straps here. You pull here, that disconnects it, and then you pull this strap and it folds into the floor in one quick motion. I really like the way in which it does it, which eliminates a giant gap between the seat when it's down and the floor back here. Toyota and Kia both fold in a different method where the seat, imagine my hand is the seat comes back like this, and what you would be seeing here is literally the backrest of the seat instead of the seat bottom like we get here in the Chrysler. You also get that in Honda. Coming here, we'll do the exact same to this side, and it folds into the floor. Now, one thing I will say Honda has over this that prior generations, the Town and Country used to be able to do is tailgate seating. You cannot prop those seats up in that laid back position for tailgate seating like you can in the Honda Odyssey, something that I really like. We're actually going to leave those in the floor here for just a moment because I do have some other cool features to show you, and we will put them up in a moment. And then again, I was talking about why you would need that. There you go. That way you don't have seat belts rattling while you are driving down the road. And then another thing, this being an FCA Chrysler product, no button for the power hatch on the hatch itself. They actually put it on the side of the vehicle, so you don't have to be tall to be able to reach the button. You don't have to jump up. You don't have to program that to be a different opening height if you just can't reach it at its fully opened height. When it comes to the key, there is a lot to talk about on the Chrysler key. You can see Chrysler logo there. We have lock, we have unlock, we have hatch open. We have remote start, and then we can actually open both back doors from the key fob itself, which is very nice. There are so many ways to open and close these back doors. It is perhaps the best feature for families with young kids especially. I know I have talked many friends, family members, colleagues into getting a minivan over a 3-row SUV just because of how convenient it is. Though you can keep that key in your pocket, your purse, wherever you keep your key, because we have a passive entry system. So you can lock it by pushing that button there, unlock it by grabbing the door handle. Let's see if the back doors have that as well. Nope. So only on the front doors, but with the door handles right side by side, it's not that big of an issue. Just know that your passive entry is only on the front doors. As we open the front doors, black is the only interior option here on the Limited with S appearance package. It's black. It's black on black on black on black on black, and that's a little bit tough for me, especially with some of the options from the navy blue and cream interior that we see on Kia Carnival, the gray and darker gray on the Honda Odyssey, and the many different interior color options on the Toyota Sienna, though this is not without its unique storage options. So we have storage on storage on storage going down the doors. You can see we have 2-person memory. For the driver, we have auto windows all the way around. 4-way lumbar on the driver's seat here. We have a place to store an umbrella and keep it from dripping everywhere in this little channel here, which is a nice touch. We see that on the passenger side as well. And then our seats. Again, the S appearance package is made known by the seats themselves with the S embroidered on it. We do get contrasting piping, which I like, and contrasting stitching. So there's a little bit of differentiation, but nothing too serious and over the top. That stitching does repeat on the dash and on the steering wheel. Let's go ahead and zoom out here, take a look at the entire dashboard. I'm going to go ahead and put my foot on the brake and push the engine start stop button, which is right there. You can see the Uconnect system comes up. We do have actual analog gauges flanking the digital helper screen, though. You can already see one of my complaints. The curved plastic screen in front of it gives a wicked glare that is going to be a problem in certain lighting situations. Other than that, very nice to see. We do not have a head-up display, so you will be looking here at your gauge screen or your 2 gauges, as long as, well, there's no big glare on it. Typical Chrysler FCA buttons here on the steering wheel. We have all the controls for that center screen there. We have all of our cruise controls and all of our adaptive cruise controls here, and our phone controls there. We do have track up and down and volume up and down on the back of the steering wheel stocks there. Physical lighting controls, HVAC, and a nice, clear, crisp Uconnect 5 system with lots of capability built into it. Not only does it have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto that is wireless, or you can plug in through the many USB ports in here, but you can also do a lot of stuff with the vehicle, including check out what's going on in the back seats. You can zoom in on individual seats from what they call FamCam. That is part of an option package that we have here on our particular model. FamCam really is something to look out for because you can keep an eye on kiddos back here in the back. And I will note it is in between the second and third row of seats, so you are looking at the back side of the second row of seats, which does oppose what we see in the systems across its competitors, where you're looking at the front of all seats in those units because you have a more forward mounted camera versus the mid-mounted camera. You will note that we have a massive panoramic roof, which necessitates the camera being mounted back there in the back. This will work very well for rear-facing car seats, so I like that a lot. That's really when you need to see them the most. We also have surround view 360 cameras, which are a little grainy, but get the job done. They are clear enough, and like I said, they get the job done. And you can pull down here and put different shortcuts up here if you want. You can see we have our 360 camera up there, but different FamCam settings, different display settings. You can go into it a lot there. And then we will go into media. There's a lot going on with the media system because you can actually control the rear media screens. There are Yes, 2 screens in this. Another differentiating factor between this and all of the competition that have a single screen that come down from the ceiling. Again, because of the panoramic roof on this, they could not do a single drop-down screen, so they gave us 2 screens on the front seat backs that we will check out later. This does have Amazon Fire TV built into it. Chrysler FCA, Stellantis was one of the first brands to implement that, and we are seeing that across their lineup, which is very nice. Otherwise, typical Uconnect system here. You can see we've got multiple different controls that we can get to, including tri-zone climate control. Then the 9-speed automatic is controlled here by this dial. If you leave it in drive and turn the vehicle off, it will automatically put itself back in park, but it will beep at you and let you know you messed up. Various physical controls for the dual zone front, HVAC controls. Again, the tri-zone is controlled here on the screen. We do have some gloss black that is already collecting dust. It's unfortunate in what will be a well-used, well-loved family vehicle. That's probably going to show a lot of wear and tear. I wish brands would figure out something other to do than gloss black. Moving down here, you can see this is where your Blu-ray input is for those rear screens. You also have USB A and C for those rear screens right up here. You can eject the disc there. We have more USB A and USB C. Up here, we have 2 USB-C, 2 USB-A, which is very nice. A Qi wireless charger. And no cover for this section here. Chrysler actually offers 3 different center console options. I believe this is the mid-tier version. 2 cup holders here, and then we have a rollback center console here with a little bit of storage in here and additional power. So more USB A and C and a cigarette lighter style plug there. We do have this rubberized mat here and a place for a few coins if you need them, all under this roller shade. We do have some additional storage down here passing through underneath the center console, though it's a little tight compared to the segment sales leader in that space in the Toyota Sienna. Otherwise, very nice storage options up front here. We even get a decent sized glove box, so I like that a lot. No special rear view mirrors here, no special mirrors here for the rear passengers, but we do have more buttons to control the sliding doors, so you can open those from here as well. You can also close them, and then we have our controls for our massive panoramic glass roof. You can see me, I am sitting up a little taller, so I am up a little higher. This is as low as the seat goes. I'm 5'10". I do feel like I'm sitting a little higher than I need to be. I would like to sit a little bit lower, but I just can't do that. But me at 5'10", I have enough headroom even with that panoramic glass roof. Now let's get into those back 2 rows, because there's a lot to show you there, and I want to be sure and get it all out of the way as quickly as possible. And to access the back doors, there are multiple different ways. You can push that black button, you can pull the door handle. Any way you want, you can trigger these doors to open. It is very nice. You can see we do have captain's chairs that are trimmed and are contrasting piping and stitching like we saw up front. No S embroidery on them. We do have latch points for child seats, which is nice, and they are reclining seats with dual armrests, so that is very nice as well. We'll go ahead, slide in. We've got a low step in height, lower than most big 3-row SUVs, so that's nice. We have storage here, we have storage here, we have storage here, massive storage with 2 cup holders if you need it right there. Though you don't need to pull out those cup holders, because we do have that button right there that brings the door closed, and now you can see we have a cup holder there in the door. Other things we do have manual shades, though you can see there's a lot of empty space not covered, but it does a job for most of the window itself. These also roll down fairly well and to give you a nice open air view if you need it. That is something I wish we had in our 92 Plymouth Grand Voyager that we did not. Another nice feature, heated outboard seats here, which is nice. And then again, you can pull this, you can push that, multiple different ways to get out back here as well. I did mention the rear entertainment system, so you can see these are touchscreen. We do have a remote that is over in there. We can skip all that, but it does have Amazon Fire TV built in. It does have built-in Wi-Fi in the vehicle, so you can connect and stream your favorite shows and entertainment. You can also plug in your devices. So again, in addition to all the plugs we had up there, we have HDMI input, USB-C input for battery only back here, and an aux input. And this is for your infrared remote reader. You can see we have the same screen over there, all the same connections over there as well. Our tri-zone climate controls, physical controls are over here on the passenger side. I really love how we have roof mounted vents because that will work for a forward or rear facing car seat, which is very nice indeed. And then again, I need to show you another feature of this minivan that is class exclusive, and that is celebrating its 20th anniversary, and that is stow and go, stow into the floor second row seats. It seems like second row seats are the new battleground of minivans. Go ahead and push this button, which moves the front seat out of the way. Yes, the middle row of seats is the new battleground. Honda has a bench seat with a removable center section, and forward and aft and side-to-side sliding second seats. Kia and Toyota both have super sliding seats with ottomans if you opt for them, that are very high-class seats. And Chrysler offers stow and go for its 20th year. You can see here we have this latch. You lift up on it and this stays up out of your way. Right now we have a massive in-floor storage, which is nice. You can opt for some Mopar accessories to protect that from getting dirty, because you can see it is a soundproof material. But now we can fold our seat into the floor with the simple pull of one strap, and then a little bit of shoving and manhandling will get this down and into place. And yeah, I'll probably need to crawl in and latch it, but yes, now you can see the seat is completely in the floor. The same can be done here to the passenger seat, which is very nice. And then you have a massive cargo area. You don't have to worry about those second seats. You don't have to worry about pulling them out or trying to find a place to keep them, and they are always with you. And when the seats are up, you do have that massive in-floor storage. And then when you need them back, you simply pull that same handle, lift that up, and with one action, you can pull that up and lift the seat back up, lift the headrest up, and pop this back into place. And now you can see we have a seat there in the second row again, which is, again, very nice. I'll go ahead and push the button, put our driver's seat back in place. Another thing I really like for family vehicles that has a one-up against all of its competition is you can leave a child seat in place and access the third row of seats. So it maintains its shape, so I can do that even with Tucker's child seat still in place and climb into the third row. It is very easy to put the third row up one-handed, but since I have two hands, I am going to use them. You simply throw it up, that way the seat bottom goes into place, and then pull that strap and the seat back goes into place. Very nice. And we have all those bag hooks down here to secure some bags, so your shopping haul does not roll around everywhere back here, which I think is very nice. We only have two top tethers back here on the back seat, even though we have three across seating, just something you should know. And then our headrests are actually quite large. I'm going to go ahead and put those up. Again, I do appreciate how I can leave Tucker's child safety seat in place and still fold that seat out of the way to get back here in the third row seat. Very comfortable back seat as well. I'm not sitting directly on the floor. My knees are in a comfortable chair-like seating position. Headrest is in a good place. I'm all around very comfortable back here. There's a nice bit of cushion to the seat bottom here. They aren't bare bones seats, so that they can fold into the floor, which is nice. I have USB-A power back here on the passenger side, nothing there on the driver's side. Two cup holders back here. I do have a sunshade that, again, doesn't cover the entirety of the back window, but I have a nice size back window, bigger than what we get in the Toyota Sienna, for instance. And then I get a couple more ceiling mounted vents back here as well. And then FamCam is also mounted back here, but there is one more thing I want to show you that is a big game changer here in the third row that does expand to the entire vehicle. And that is Chrysler's Stow in Vac system. So while we don't have USB power or cup holders over here, we do have a built-in vacuum. You can see you just simply pull it out here, and we do have an extendable hose that can reach the entire vehicle from here. And then under this roller cover here, we have a couple different attachments here so that you can clean up the entire vehicle. It did come in handy. It is very easy to use. You just push that power button, and you can see we do get fairly nice suction. It does get very loud, and you can clean it out back there in the back. where I was showing you earlier. And then all of your tools do store in here if you put them in correctly under this rolling hiding panel right there, which is very nice in a family vehicle that is going to see a lot of snacks eaten on the inside and perhaps a lot of dirt trekked in from various different activities. All right, so now sitting in here where I can talk with my hands and talk about the seating position, again, I do feel like I'm a little too far up and I can't sit down in it enough. I also feel more properly sitting in the first place. I feel more upright. Now I can lean it back, but I don't know. I just can't get like the most comfortable sitting position, but it's not uncomfortable by any means. I'm actually very comfortable right here. I just feel like I'm sitting more properly, if that makes sense. And then again, the two-person memory does help. We do have a manual telescoping steering wheel right here, all of which is very nice. And then the seating position, not only do I feel like I'm up over the rest of the vehicle, but I feel like I'm very far forward. Even though we do have a big dash, we have this little window here that helps me see out a little bit. I can see out that one better than this one, but I feel like I'm practically sitting over the front axle. And because the vehicle is so long, I feel like the axle way back there, I'm like pivoting over the front axle. It's just a very different driving experience than the vehicle we swapped out of to get into this, which I know is not exactly a fair comparison given that was a Hummer EV. As we set off and drive this one though, again, talking about the naturally aspirated V6 and the 9-speed automatic transmission, it all works quite well together. I have not felt it hunting for gears or looking for power, though it's not the most powerful. It is very slow to get up and go. You're not gonna be drag racing this, but you are gonna be merging onto the highway. You are gonna be carrying a lot of people and stuff. So you want to know that it can go if you need it to go. So I do like the fact that we have a naturally aspirated V6. We're not turbocharging a 4-cylinder. We're not doing any hybrid additions of power here. What you see is what you get. It's very simple. It's a tried and true 3.6 liter V6 that has been around for years, and there are some reputation of unreliability with them, but for that we can't test them in our full week's worth of testing exactly how they will live long term. That is something for you to do a little additional research on. My apologies. As I drive this around, we have used it in all sorts of situations. School pickup lines multiple times. We've run and got groceries in this, and there's plenty of room for that, as I showed you earlier. We've taken Tucker around. He loves the sliding doors and loves that it's got TVs in the back of the headrest. This really is a great family vehicle. I do love the shades in the back window so he doesn't get too hot, and he can actually roll down his back windows so he doesn't get too hot. And he has controls over the air vents back there. Air vents are pointed directly at him, which are good. Like, a lot really does work well with this for a family vehicle, and has worked well in our time with it. Even though we have the bigger 20-inch wheels versus the standard 18s, I'd say the ride on this is fairly comfortable as well. We still get decent sidewall on those Pirelli P0 tires. That means that we are not just riding directly on the rim itself. We actually have some cushioning in the tire, and then our suspension does a good job of soaking up bumps. Also helping soak up bumps is, again, that long wheelbase we talked about earlier. Having a stretched wheelbase does flatten everything out. It's why ships got so big, to cut through the waves instead of riding over the waves. I feel like that is a similar process here the longer vehicles get, though because it is a minivan, its center of gravity is down low. It does have a taller center of gravity than a car, but it is definitely not going to be rolling as much as, say, a big body-on-frame SUV would be. So it's easier to drive like a car. It feels like a car when you're driving it, because essentially it is a tall car with a giant cave back behind you and tons of storage space, which here on this heavily textured East Texas back road, is not giving me a lot of interior reverb that we have seen in brick road situations in minivans specifically, where the whole van acts as a tuning fork because it's unibody design. The fact that we have 3 massive holes cut in it back behind me, I guess 2 more up here for my doors. Yes, it is a big tube and it could be a big tuning fork in certain situations, but here I'm not getting a lot of road noise. I am getting road noise, but I wouldn't say it's obtrusive. I have definitely heard worse on this very road from vehicles that cost more and vehicles that cost less. So that's no big deal there. As far as drivability, again, power seems effortless for what this is. It doesn't feel like it's struggling, though it's definitely not the most spirited drive ever. As we turn and twist down these roads, it does a fair job. It's not plowing through corners. And I do like the fact that we have that mechanical all-wheel drive. We don't need it here in Texas, but it's good to know that it is an option for those snowy climates or someplace where added traction is necessary. And then you saw, as we went over those bumps earlier, we have a little bit of a floaty ride, but it's not like where you're gonna get seasick. It helps float you over some of the imperfections. It doesn't beat you up, and it definitely does not make you sick. Though, again, it is not a sport vehicle, even though that S badge on my seat back would maybe lend you to think that. It is definitely not a sporty vehicle in its own right. So what are my overall thoughts of this? Out of the 4 major minivans, I would not say this is the best in the segment. It definitely offers some segment best and segment exclusive features that cannot be ignored. If interior space is a big deal for you, especially being able to do something with those second row seats, Stow and Go cannot be beat. That is an option that does go away if you get the plug-in hybrid. So if you need Stow and Go, you're going to be going with the gas-only V6 version, not the plug-in hybrid version. And we have tested both, and I really do prefer the Stow and Go variant of the Pacifica versus the plug-in hybrid. We just didn't see the fuel economy on our Route 66 road trip that I thought we would from a plug-in hybrid, though it does make a good vehicle for roundabout trips in town because you can use full electricity for that and then use the gas engine for longer trips. Other things that really do set this apart, that mechanical all-wheel drive, the naturally aspirated V6, all add up to a very good solid package. Though this minivan is showing its age, it's one of the older ones in the segment. Kia and Toyota are the 2 newest, and those would probably be my picks for absolute favorite just because they are more modern. They feel more modern, but you really cannot lose with any minivan in the segment. I love them all and would recommend them all based on what your needs and situation are. Particularly, this does not offer an 8-seat option, so that too is something that you might need to consider when looking at minivans. But I do highly recommend minivans for families seeking 3 rows because they are the most versatile, they are the most practical, and they just get so much done, and they have so many cool features. We have a vacuum in here, we have dual screens in here, and did I mention Tucker can open and close his doors just fine, and we don't have to worry about him denting any neighboring cars in a parking spot, all of which cannot be discounted for how well this works for a family vehicle, especially for families with young kids. That about does it for my time here with the 2025 Chrysler Pacifica Limited all-wheel drive. If you want to see more from us here on the channel, hit the subscribe button down below and ring the bell so you're notified every time a new video drops. Find us on all social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, you name it. Everything is at GT Garage Talk, or you can go to gtgaragetalk.com where you will find links to everything that we do from there. Quick turn there. But yes, as for me in the Chrysler Pacifica, until next time, gearheads, bye.